previously, especially in regards to the Tic Tac incident. Let's also go to the next one here, because this is a really critical part of it. This is specifically about the GOP oversight and about some of the previous allegations that were happening in terms of budgeting and how previous ways that the Department of Defense can get around transparency and others is by piloting and pushing them through military contractors to avoid transparency, to avoid disclosure. It's also part of the reason the Pentagon literally cannot pass an audit. Let's take a listen to that section.
To your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
So two, pretty interesting allegations there. So there was, look, in terms of the hearing, it was a lot about getting stuff on the record. There were some issues, as I was told, in terms of the Immaculate Constellation document, the 12-page document that was put into the congressional record. I won't go into all of that just yet because we're about to play a video. But overall, this was about getting Lou Elizondo in questioning, getting some of the things on the record, going into the Trump administration. And that's one thing where, look, Trump and RFK, actually Gates, as well, have all said that they are at least, in favor of UFO transparency, of disclosure. There is like some sort of horseshoe MAGA crossover currently with UFOs and Trump. So the question is that are we going to get some of this to be released? Considering that Tulsi Gabbard's now going up for the ODNI position, it's certainly possible in some sort of transparency-laden effort to actually declassify a lot of these documents and actually just give it out to the general public. The other option is the permanent bureaucracy only burrows even further in, and you're not going to get anything. But nonetheless, it was very interesting to see some of this go on the record.
Was there an effort during the first Trump administration to get him to release these documents, and why has he said that he didn't?
So he said he did it at the request of Mike Pompeo, just like with the JFK. So let's, first with that. Also, look, Trump doesn't care about the issue, and this is unfortunate. He's not somebody who has ever expressed a deep interest. The whole UFO thing has taken years to enter the public consciousness. Lou Elizondo is one of those people who's chiefly responsible for getting these videos out to the public. He was there and name-checked in the 2017 New York Times article that started this whole thing. That's when people were like, holy shit, are UFOs actually real? In those videos, I can say that for myself. The problem with the legitimization is people kind of just saw it and then just moved past. Lou Elizondo himself was out of the government. Then what happened, in the interim period of years is people like David Fravor came out and gave interviews. You had people now like David Grush who have come forward. You've had almost 8 years of the public reconciling himself to both the lies and the transparency, and people like Christopher Miller and others who have come forward and have spoken about this program. So I would say it is more primed, I think, both for the public, for the military bureaucracy, and also even members of Congress. These people thought it was all a joke.
Also a UFO guy?
Rubio is a UFO guy. That's very true. Okay, I'll put it this way. I don't know if he's a UFO guy in terms of he's a believer, but he was the head of the Intelligence Committee in the Senate, and his staff and others were always consistent that they were very concerned about the reports they would get. Notice, and I think this is intentional, is they always talk about readiness, because the one way angle you can always get Congress and others to care about is like, hey, we literally have things that are flying around up there and we have no idea what they are, including being able to disable like nuclear missile silos and submarines, and people have no clue like what's actually happening. So I think that's what that's how I would contextualize this hearing. I will end with this part, but again, I have to note that there were some issues with the enter of this into the record. So let's go ahead and get to Nancy Mace's questioning about the Immaculate Constellation program entered in the congressional record. Let's take a listen.
There is a document that will be entered into the congressional record today Mr. Tim Burchett from Tennessee has this document, and we just distribute it to every member up here on the dais of this document. But this is going to be the original document from the Pentagon about Immaculate Constellation that Michael Schellenberger delivered to Congress today. So thank you, Mr. Schellenberger, for this information. We are all reading it in real time now, and Mr. Burchett will enter it into the record. But 12 pages about this unacknowledged special access program that your government says does not exist.
Like I said, in terms of that basically it's entered in the congressional record, but as I understand it, like I said, there were some issues regarding the enter of that into the record, and this is part of the controversy and, you know, things that have come out of it. My point just being that on the program itself, in terms of getting things into the congressional effort, this was an effort to try and to enter Michael Schellenberger's original report, you know, in there so that people can read for itself. And because you want to get this stuff into the record, it allows for investigation, public transparency, which is the ultimate goal of the project. Overall, I would not call the hearing like a tremendous success or anything like that, because nothing other than actual disclosure is. I think it was just pushing the ball forward and setting things up for the next Trump administration and what that will look like.
It's going to be interesting.
I know it's complicated.
Listen, if I'm going to get Trump, at least I can get like JFK files and alien files.
And aliens, that's
That
right.
would be interesting.
I mean, think about it. You know, if you ever wanted someone to meet an alien, wouldn't it be Donald Trump in terms of the president? Who would you want? Which commander-in-chief? Definitely not Biden.
I'm sure this is something that I've really thought that I'm prepared to opine on. I haven't really thought it through.
If you want to go deep, there is a theory that Dwight Eisenhower once had a conference with aliens, but we won't get to that today. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.